Hey guys, just before the video starts, I'd like to apologize about the sound levels. Said in my last video that my PC, for some reason, just decided to die. The sound that I've been setting up, it's not right just yet. So just bear with it with this video. It should be better on the next one. And if you do want to subscribe to this channel, you'll help me out a lot because YouTube is deleting a lot of subscribers. I don't know if you've noticed this, but when a video drops, I get subscribers, and then the next day, not as many. It's gone down a little bit. It's like we're fighting a war between how many people subscribe and how quickly YouTube can delete those subscribers. Maybe I'm just losing my mind, but it just feels like that's the case. And if it's not, then it's not, but it feels like it. So you'd help me out by helping the channel grow. Let's get on with the video. So what we're seeing right now, and I believe we'll move forward in 2026, is a grand awakening of people in the Anglosphere waking up to the fact that what's happening in our countries is a collective invasion, and it will be a mass awakening. It will happen all at once, I believe. Enough people will wake up to start moving the conversation forward in a way that we've never seen before. And the reason I say this is because in every single white country right now, we're seeing the same kind of patterns play out. And in the UK, we've got a lot of experience with this. We've been seeing this happen to us for decades now. And we're in a really good position to explain to the entire world exactly what is happening and how to avoid the gaslighting, how to ignore the labels and call them out for exactly what they're doing without any guilt whatsoever. And once you get rid of that guilt, their defences completely crumble and they've got nowhere else to go. We saw that recently in Australia, the Bondi Beach massacre, in which the politicians, Mr. Abalose, or whatever he's called, the Quisling, he came out and said that it's actually the problem of the far right. That's who we need to be really worried about.
The threat of anti-Semitism, as we have seen, is very real. Threats of other occurrences, such as the rise in the far right.
He then wanted to take away the guns of normal native Australians, and he said that as soon as a migrant from Islam or some shitty evil religion walks through the immigration hall in Australia, they lose all of their bigoted opinions and all of their hate and all of their evil, and they become just like you.
Now, the Australian covenant is that when people enter into Australia and go through the customs hall, they leave any prejudices and any hatreds in that hall, and they celebrate Australia, who we are, modern Australia, and respect each other and respect our common humanity. That's what I want to see.
An absolutely amazing take from a Prime Minister that I think will be hated in his country for all time. Probably won't be allowed to live there or wouldn't want to live there moving forward. We saw it recently with the grooming gangs and the Southport attack in the UK, in which Keir Starmer came out and blamed to the far right.
The disorder is intolerable. It is incapable of justification. It's clearly racist.
After a immigrant murdered some children. Again, like it's the problem of the far right. A complete deflection and inversion of the truth. Every single time we see an attack, every time we see a massive scale of fraud, like we've seen in Minneapolis, we saw the YouTuber come out, I forgot his name, sorry, come out and exposed what was happening there, and immediately he was called a far-right Nazi. He was called a racist, a xenophobe. It's the same pattern playing out every single time. These people come into our countries, they attack us indiscriminately, they do massive amounts of harm to our countries, and then suddenly when we point it out, the politicians take their side and call us far right. I think 2026 will be the year when we finally say no more to the politicians, no more to the grifters, no more to the Islamists, no more to the other people that we're not allowed to talk about, but yeah, they're on the same side as well. Not all of them, but enough of them. And that's the thing. It's enough of them. Let's have a look at Let's have a look at this. So, Elon Musk has just come out and said that it's war. You know, he found a video, or someone tweeted a video at him in which this Somali woman is saying, "Do not worry about the kafir. Do not worry about this kafir. He will be dead soon." Now, I'll be honest. I don't like that very much, and I don't think you like that at home very much. You know, when you're being told that you're going to die soon, the same as the YouTuber. He received a tweet recently saying that he would be dead in 3 months' time. 4 months' time, in April. So when you're getting death threats for exposing the truth, when you're getting death threats for having a free speech platform by immigrants that are supposedly just, part of your strength. Importing low IQ Somalis into your country is supposed to be a good thing for your culture and your country moving forward. That's what the politicians keep telling us. That's what the media keeps telling us. And reality keeps slapping us in the face to say, well, actually, everything that you're saying is a fucking lie. And I think a lot more people are waking up to this, and a lot quicker than they can control. So I don't know what Elon means by "this is war," although I can have a guess, and I'll come back to that later in the segment. What we've seen recently in the Netherlands is another example of this. These people are here to enrich your culture, remember? Except that's not what they seem to be doing. The BBC has wrote an article on this, and as you can tell, it's not a very good article from the BBC. They have done everything they possibly can not to tell you what's happening. So police in the Netherlands were pelted with fireworks and faced an unprecedented amount of violence on New Year's Eve, officers have said. The 19th century church in Amsterdam was engulfed by fire in the early hours of New Year's Day, although the cause of the blaze is not yet known. It's this one here. The Vonderlecht Church. Absolutely beautiful piece of European architecture up in flames. A symbol of Christendom up in flames. Why would they choose a church? What kind of people would do that? Well, the BBC is certainly not going to tell you that. Elsewhere in the Netherlands, a 17-year-old boy and a 30-year-old man were killed in fireworks incidents. In Beerfield, Germany, local police said 2 18-year-olds died after setting off homemade fireworks. And it goes on to say, there's more and more violence. It's pretty widespread across Europe. But they don't tell you who's doing it, and they don't tell you why it's happening, because the mainstream media and the politicians work hand in glove to gaslight you into giving up your country to people that should never, ever be here. Jack Montgomery wrote, writing this report about the BBC with zero reference to the migration background of the communities involved is a gross disservice to journalism. Well, I don't know what you expect from the BBC, I'll be honest. They've not exactly been a bastion of British journalism for quite some time now. Someone else had a different take. This is Jill. Jill sat the beach. You get what you voted for. Now, I've seen this a few times, this kind of comment, and it annoys me to such an extent that I can't really emphasize it on YouTube. It's exactly the same kind of tweet that you would get from a boomer saying, well, I'm going to die soon, so I don't give a shit. We didn't vote for this. I'll get to this point in a sec. We didn't vote for this. No one has voted to be invaded. No one has voted for their churches to be burned down. No one has voted for any of the crimes that have been committed against our countries. No one voted for our politicians to openly lie to us during an election campaign and then do the opposite when they're in power. We voted for the opposite of this for decades. We just haven't got what we voted for. So I hate this kind of comments. I hate this kind of person that kind of just lumps you in with the immigrants and the politicians and the mainstream media as though you're part of the problem as well. Not a good look. Not a good look. I was speaking to a man the other day. I was at a restaurant and this guy was looking at me and he went over and started playing with my dog. And I thought it was a bit weird. He was like an older gentleman, and he sat down next to me and I was like, okay. And he goes, hey, what do you do for a living? I live in a foreign country, by the way. So, seeing white people, you get weird reactions from other white people. So he sat down next to me. He's like, what do you do for a living? And I was like, I work online. And he goes, oh, that's interesting. What kind of things do you do? And I was like, well, I talk about politics. And he goes, wow, really? What kind of things? And I go, well, the UK is not doing very well right now. And I try and highlight the ways that immigration is destroying the country. And his face just went. And he goes to me, well, what do you care? You're not even in the country. And I looked at him for a second and I thought, what the fuck, dude? So I said to him, what do you mean I'm not in the country? Do you not care about the country being changed forever? Do you not care about the demographic replacement? And he literally said to me, no, I don't give a shit. I don't even live there. I've got what I wanted. I live here now. This is my country now. And I had two things warring in me at that time. I was like, so you took what you wanted from the fucking country and then you just left. And then I called him, you're a typical fucking boomer. And then I said to him, do you honestly think that you're a citizen of this country now? And he goes, yeah, I'm a citizen. And I go, all right, so you're just the same as these guys. You have the same rights as them, do you? And he goes, Oh, you can vote, can you? And he went, Oh, you've got the same, when you go into a park or a theme park or something like that, will you get charged the same rates? Can you speak the language? Do the locals respect you in the same way they respect someone from their country? And he was like, And I ripped into him a little bit. Like I was a bit harsh, don't get me wrong. And he didn't last too long. He started off like laughing and like trying to laugh off what I was saying as though I was joking, but I wasn't fucking joking. And he quickly realised that and retreated back to his little table. The point is, I'm sick of these people. I'm sick of people that saying, oh, it's not my problem. You got what you voted for. Well, you know what? I'm part of this country's culture and people now, even though they know that they're not. They don't have any rights in these countries. See, what we're seeing right now, this is just 4 years, right? Within 4 years in France, these are all of the churches that have been burned down. All of the churches have been burned down in just 4 years. How many mosques have been burned down? I would probably say not a single one, because it would be all over the news. The mainstream media would paint you all as racists, as white supremacists, as the worst kind of evil. And again, I think a lot of people are waking up to the fact that we are being lied to on a industrial scale by every single outlet of news and media that we can think of. We're being lied to by our fellow men, the brain-dead sheep that can't think for themselves and can only parrot the garbage and the sound bites that the mainstream media and the politicians plant in their heads like seeds of self-hatred. We are fighting an ideological war. Maybe that's what Elon was saying when he said, this is war. It's an ideological war, but it's also a demographic war. It's a biological war. They're using people instead of bombs. They're flooding our countries with people that hate us instead of just blowing us up and bombing the buildings, because that's a little bit too direct. That would allow the fight or flight response to flare up too quickly. That would allow people to realize immediately we're under attack. Instead, they're using the analogy of the frog in the boiling pot of water. Only the water is mass immigration. So, I don't know, guys. I do think that 2026 is going to be a year that I think a lot of people are going to wake up. And this kind of speech will never work ever again in human history. The idea that diversity is our strength will be something looked back on by people of future generations as a betrayal of such a monumental scale that we will never be a trusting people ever again.
Look, can I just scotch the rumours that the... Well, look, can I just scotch the rumours that the only reason why I've got an element of the Ryder Cup where Europe beat the USA is to have some upmanship on President Trump. That's not the case at all. What tonight is about is togetherness.
Well, that sounds like a fucking lie. Let's listen to that one more time. That's like a self-own there.
Well, look, can I just scotch the rumours that the only reason why I've got an element of the Ryder Cup where Europe beat the USA is to have some upmanship on President Trump. That's not the case at all. What tonight is about is togetherness. It's shown that we think diversity is a strength. not a weakness. We think it makes us richer, not poorer. It makes us a city that is the greatest city in.
He can't even remember his own fucking bullshit lines. That's the thing with this guy. Everything out of his mouth is a lie. It's the inversion of truth. Diversity is strength. No, diversity is his strength, and it's your weakness. We want to come together. No, he wants to come together with his people against your people.
In the world, and if people have a problem with that, that's their problem, not ours. And you'll see tonight.
Not ours, not ours. His people. It's your problem. It's not ours.
Along the River Thames, but across the country, people celebrating our capital city.
So Sadiq, he described you as a disgusting mayor, and it took Downing Street. They had to actually say that they weren't slow in supporting you. Are you getting the type of support that you would hope, given that kind of level of commentary?
I'm incredibly proud to live in a great city like London, but also a city where we don't just tolerate difference, we respect it, we embrace it, and we celebrate it. And the best support that you can ask for.
How much do you tolerate white people? It's not a lot, I can tell you that much. You don't tolerate white people marching on London, do you? You do everything you can to cancel their marches. You do everything you can to peg them in and corral them into very tight spaces where the police can kick the shit out of them. And you set up counter-protests in their way. No, I don't believe that.
Stories from your fellow citizens, and Londoners know what it means to be a Londoner. Londoners know that actually when people denigrate our city, when they try and talk down our city, it's because...
This is a guy that said white people do not represent London. So he's not talking about, when he says people, he's not talking about white people. He's talking about his people, brown people.
Because they're jealous. We can understand why some...
The takeaway from this, by the way, I don't want to keep listening to him because I can't stand him. He's a little rat. He's a hook-nosed Karangastan. No, listen. He's saying in this segment that Donald Trump is jealous of London's diversity. Word for word, right? I don't know if he understands what jealous means. Jealousy. Jealousy is the idea that you're afraid of someone taking something away from you. I think he's too stupid to use English properly. What he means is he's envious of London's diversity, which is also bullshit. I don't think that's true at all. Why would someone be envious of a city that is no longer representative of the country in which it is sitting in? Unless, of course, you really don't care about the native people of that country. And again, I do believe leading the way, and I've talked about him a few times now because he's saying the few things that a lot of us think and a lot of politicians are too afraid to say or think the opposite of. And that's that in America's case, if the radical left wins in the next term, they will open the floodgates to illegal immigration and fraud. And I can't argue against that. All the evidence points to that. We're seeing that in our country. Look at the immigration system. That is an industrial complex now in which it's a money-making Ponzi scheme. You have NGOs that are set up in France and around Europe. They funnel the migrants into Calais. And then they cross over to Dover, right? Now that's creating a lot of wealth for these NGOs. There's a lot of people getting rich just from that part of it. Then you've got the people, once they're over, they're sent to the hotels. They're giving computers. They're given stipends. They're given all these different things. But at the same time, they need people to do those jobs. They need people to earn money from facilitating those jobs. So those companies are set up to facilitate that process. And those companies make a lot of money. They then go to the hotels. Those hotels make a lot of money. They then have the people that need to watch them and supervise them. They make a lot of money. The catering staff, right? They make a lot of money. The politicians probably make a lot of money through gifts. There's a massive Ponzi scheme that has been set up just with immigration. And I can't even imagine like the lawyers and the other things that go into this, that the amount of money that they make going to court, trying to keep these people in the country. Then you've got the massive companies like BlackRock and Amazon that make a lot of money by paying these people lower wages than the average person in the native country would demand. The whole system is rigged in such a way that immigration itself is financially beneficial. So that means that immigration is a runaway system in which the companies and the governments and all the NGOs are all set up to facilitate it. So how can you break that down without destroying that whole system? And you know what they really hate more than anything else? They hate it when you take money away from them. And that's what they see there. The destruction of your country might be a side effect, or it might be the main reason they set up that system in the first place. But all of the gaslighting, the mainstream media, everyone, the politicians, all of them, they blame the natives because it's making them rich. And again, it might be just a side effect that they're also going to wipe us out. We've all seen the videos where they celebrate this, where they celebrate that the white population declining is a wonderful thing, that having white Americans, white European Americans in America become a minority is a wonderful thing, and you should celebrate that. We've heard the same thing in the UK with Ash Sarkar saying that we're winning when the white population became the minority in London. We see them all the time celebrating this. These people are the beneficiaries. So we don't really know if the elitists, if they're celebrating this in the same way, or they're just reaping the rewards. They're just getting rich by it. Or maybe it's both. But 2026, I do believe that a lot more people are going to wake up and realize that the grift is on and we're at war. See you later.